Hi guys to everyone, I'm Ada from Poison Rock and I have the pleasure to have with us today Curran Murphy from 72 Legions, but mainly Curran Murphy. How are you?
I'm good. I'm very, very good. Just
That's
got back, just got back from tour a few weeks ago, and I finally feel rested.
yeah. So it's your guy. You basically settling a little bit chill at your place. Let's say. How
Yeah,
how did it go the tour?
the tour went awesome. It went so well. All the bands, Venom Inc., Satan, and Ringworm were all super
Satan, you
cool.
were touring with Satan.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. So
amazing,
we,
man.
we got to open and start the show for all three of those bands, and it was absolutely awesome. Every band was really cool with us. They were all super nice. They, were. It was just a great tour. Every night, you know, hundreds of metalheads were showing up and
Listen,
getting
man.
wild with us, and it was great.
And in which country were you touring mainly?
We toured the U.S. So for
France.
us, it was our first United States tour, and we were out for about 3 weeks.
I
Played
mean,
all
yeah.
all over the country, all over,
So from the west to the east, from the north to the south.
north to south, and mostly on the east. So like
Okay.
New York and Virginia, North Carolina,
Okay.
Florida. We had shows in Missouri and New Orleans, Louisiana area. We it was all over.
This is pretty tough, but I think it was a funny. At least
Oh
you
yeah.
guys had fun. That's cool. And of course, I mean, Karen, you are as well known as, of course, 70 Legions. Let's say it's your own project, so it's more recent, let's say. But of course, you are known for a lot of your music history. So I want to ask you before we start to speak about 72 Legions, how Karen started. I mean, let's go back in time when you were just a toddler, how you get in touch with music.
Like how I got interested in music,
Yeah,
or
just
so.
you were born and one day, I don't know, you
Oh,
took
good
the
Lord.
guitar or you took whatever, you getting close.
So
The oldest memory.
what got me interested in
Mm.
playing guitar was Metallica. So
Okay.
when the video single for One came
Oh,
out, and my cousin could actually play guitar a little bit,
yeah.
and he showed me tablature that you didn't have to
Okay.
read music. You could read just
Yeah.
the numbers and the
Yeah, I
string,
remember.
and
Yeah.
yeah. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I don't need any musical talent to play guitar. Great. So
That's the best.
so I went and bought a guitar off a buddy of mine for $40, and started playing for a year and a half. And it's all been downhill since then.
So that was like the beginning. But of course, your musical journey is really. I mean, you played in as well in like I say, you were like in a Hannah and Abandoned Souls 8. You had a lot in your past as well. Do you think that all these let's say period of your moment of your career influence as well in your music of today?
Yeah, of course. Because I mean, for me, every band or every song that I've written or band that I've played in,
Yeah.
or it's all building blocks.
Yeah.
It all builds me up to where I'm at right now with 72 Legions. So, you can hear, at least I think you can hear all my influences from my time in Annihilator, from my
Yeah.
time playing guitar for Nevermore,
Yeah.
uh, all the way through to my very first, band when I was 17,
Which
it's
was your
all.
first band? And now I'm curious. Your
Oh,
first
my very first band was a band called Abandoned
band,
Soul,
okay. Band and Soul.
and we put out one record, and we financed it ourselves, and it was fun. That was fun. Yeah, I actually still know all those guys from that band, the singer, bass player Eric, the
That's
guitar player Thomas, and the drummer Christopher. They pop up every now and again, and we
it's just
talk
like
on Facebook and stuff. It's
friends
funny.
that you're still on with. It's cool because of course, like you were mentioning about this kind of say influences, but as well way of shaping you the way of your playing guitar in
Mhm.
all these years, like from all this huge band. Because as well, like we're not speaking about just local band. You were speaking a worldwide band, like Nevermore on Annihilator. Of course, I want to, if it came to me spontaneously asking you as a fan of them, how was being with this, especially two huge
Yeah,
immense.
yeah. I'm still a fan of both of those bands.
Yeah,
I
they're
I
men.
still like I like all the music that
You,
I got to play
yeah,
and tour with and be a part of. Yeah.
yeah, that's beautiful. And of course, then now, since let's say Seven to Legions, I mean, of course, I want to ask you because in Seven to Legions there are as well amazing musicians as well. So let's
Yeah.
just give them some credit to them. Just of course,
Oh yeah.
the guys in the band as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the really cool thing about 72 Legions, when I started the band, I wanted to do something completely opposite from my last band, where in the
Okay.
last band I was in for 15 years trying to make work, I did everything. I wrote all the songs, wrote all the lyrics, wrote all the melodies, told everybody what to do. It was
The
every,
manager and the composer, yeah.
yeah, I did everything. And the drummer in that band would help me with arrangements and picking
Yeah.
the songs for the records. And I didn't want to do that with this band. I wanted this to be a band, more of
Yeah.
a collaborative, like every guy. So like my drummer Colton in 72 Legions, um, he writes on guitar. He sends me riffs, email. Hey, do you think this is any good? I'm like, dude, this is a great riff. So we're getting ready to start writing and recording the new record in this week. And
Okay.
we're gonna be in the studio for a couple of months working on this new record. Um, and he's already sent me 12 or 13 very good ideas. And then the other guitar player, Robert the Red,
Yeah.
he writes all the time. And then, of course, I write all the time. And my bass player, Dan,
Yeah.
he's actually an incredible guitar player, ridiculously good guitar player. The only reason he's playing bass is because I didn't know of who to get to play bass. And I thought that he might know somebody. And then I called him, hey, Dan, do you know anybody that would want to play bass in the couture for this band I'm doing? And he's like, well, could I do it? I'm like, well, sure, you're hired. Didn't even have to audition.
It's just fine. It was his
Yeah,
choice.
and so between all four of us as
Yeah.
the music instrument players, we all write constantly as
Yeah.
separate people, and then when we get together and rehearse, at our rehearsal space, I mic everything up and we record every rehearsal because in between songs, somebody will just be riffing,
Yeah, exactly. And so
and then Colton will join in, and then Robert will come up, and so we
it's a
catch all
flow.
those moments, and then I can bring those into the studio and go, that's a cool riff, that's a cool riff, that's junk, and then
Yeah,
start making new songs very quickly. And that's actually how we did our new EP we just released for the Venom Inc. tour.
where,
What a
where
God could be.
yeah.
That was written over 10 days, written and
Okay.
recorded and
So
mixed and
so you're
every.
gonna do an album in a month with this
We're gonna
so fast.
we're, we're gonna actually take a lot of time. We're gonna take 3 months.
Okay,
We're,
but it's not. I mean, it's a good mom. It's let's say it's a good amount of time
yeah,
because of course there are bands that they took like 10 years to produce an album. So
yeah,
there are quite bands in the metal scene that take a really comfortable time, just
yeah,
enjoy every riff. But we can say that in Seventh Religion there is, like you were saying, like a huge flow of ideas constantly. This
yeah.
this shows this a beautiful friendship, I guess, between each one of you.
Yeah, and that's been the really again, I want this to be a band
Yeah,
and not just like a bunch of guys that I hire to play for me.
yeah,
So
just like
the first EP we released last
Seventh
January,
Religion.
that was music that I had written that was already done.
Okay. So that's, let's say that the first 72 Legions EP was just your ideas in the beginning.
Right. And so everybody, we had a deadline for a release. We had a big show, and I'm like, we have to have a CD for this show.
Yeah, to shut up.
So we just released that 3-song EP, and part of my idea was we'll release it. It'll be done. It'll be gone, and then we can start working as a band.
Yeah, but it's
You
always
know,
it's on your discography, so
yeah.
you can't cancel.
And so we got to be, doing that process and working that way.
Yeah,
It helped us everybody get comfortable and become friends with each other
that's
and
beautiful.
to understand how like I write, how Dan, my bass player, writes,
Yeah,
how Robert likes to write, how and then getting everybody comfortable with, you know, well, like I understand that, oh, it's Curran Murphy from Nevermore and Annihilator. Oh, people think that
yeah,
like it's I'm this big. No, 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 no. And so for my drummer to be feel confident enough
yeah.
or comfortable to
Okay.
send me music, like, hey, I
Okay.
have these riffs, that can be scary, like if I, were, you know, working with Jeff Loomis from Nevermore,
Yeah.
I would probably like, well, his stuff is always better than mine, so I'll just let him do everything.
No, it
You
was the
know,
opposite. Yeah.
it,
No,
it
it
could
was
be,
the
it could
opposite.
be, it could be easy to for
Yeah.
people to be that way. So
So
it's very cool that we're all friends and bandmates, and
yeah.
that worked really well on the tour. We didn't have fights. At the end of the tour, when we got back home, we all hung out by the van for like 2 hours talking while we were kind of, unpacking our luggage and stuff. And I'm used to, you finish a tour and you leave and you don't even want to talk to anybody in your band for months.
Someone
Or,
else.
hey man, fuck you. I'll see you when it's time for the next tour. Okay, fuck you too. And so
I like that.
it wasn't that. It was really awesome, and
That's
I'm
beautiful.
gonna do everything I can to make sure that can always be the case. That
Yeah,
I
that's
know we'll have fights and shit. I know that, but
come on, it's like a marriage. It's like
yeah,
marriage, like a
yeah,
relationship. There is
yeah,
a certain moment, there is a moment in that relationship, a peace stage, when happens that you have a fight or you become like old people, like old people having a fight. It's normal.
yeah.
But that's the beauty of it because it shows that the authenticity, the being the genuinity, it shows that them being genuine, like
Yeah,
people as
yeah,
well. But of
genuine.
course, I mean, how do you reach all these guys in the band? I mean, of course, they just show you put like an announcement, like in the old style in the rehearsal room.
Um,
I'm looking for a singer.
well, I did that for the drummer. I did
Okay,
that. I,
okay.
I
I
had
have no idea. I swear, I have no idea. I didn't.
so the singer I was introduced to Devin, who I jokingly call him 7 feet of metal because he's so tall. So I met 7 feet through a bass player friend of ours, a friend of mine, friend of his, introduced us,
Yeah.
and we were talking, would I like to do a project with heavy death metal vocals, and I was definitely interested. And then I heard Devin track some vocals to my music, and I'm like, this is cool. So Devin was very easy. He was just introduced
Yes, I
to
know
me,
about that.
and we get along really, really well. He's super quiet.
Yeah.
He says it best. He's like, everything I got to say is in my lyrics. So that's like he doesn't introduce the songs on stage live. I do that. Okay, he's like, I got nothing to say. It's all in my lyrics.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Like
just think.
I'm
My
like, oh, that's a pretty good heavy metal answer. I'll let him off the hook for that one. All right, I'll do the
just
I'll do
yeah.
the yap in between songs. I like to talk about my band
But you
anyway.
are the entertainer on the stage.
I'm an idiot.
Easy.
But Robert, the guitar player, I met him through his previous band, and then that band was kind of breaking up. So I called him like, "Would you be cool? Would you
Right.
want to play guitar with me?" And he said yes. And then Dan, I told you I
Yeah.
have known Dan for a few years, and he's just a really nice guy. And you know, really, he offered to play bass. I'm like, okay, you're in. You don't even have to audition. You're hired.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and so like when we write, I really make sure that everybody in the band understands if you've got music. So Dan has
That's
brought in
beautiful.
songs. The song Darker and Darker on the new EP on What a God Could Be.
Yeah.
Um, Colton and Dan wrote that song together.
That's beautiful because sometimes just when I don't know, it's just for example the lead guitarist that is composing and then the singer which is writing just the lyrics. That's it. That's
Yeah.
and of course they just the other drummer whatever they just brought just their own thoughts, but
Right.
not otherwise like the drummer brought some guitar riffs. That's
Right.
it's not easy. I mean it happens of course, but
Yeah.
you don't find it like in each band. So
Yeah.
that's really cool. And about the what I got could be if, of course, like you mentioned, it's different from 72 Legions because it's, let's say, a team work.
Yeah.
What about the lyric wise, before talking about the sound, how we can put, like, is it just kind of topic or is it just like more like taking single song, our concept? I mean, just
There's
simple.
I don't believe there's a unified concept
Yeah.
for the song. Devin, he writes all the lyrics. I on purpose I stay away from the lyrics for 72 Legions. I can write
All right.
I can do all that,
Yeah.
but I've done that before. I don't want to do
Okay.
that.
Again.
Maybe in the future. Maybe in an album or two if Devin is interested in that, but he writes all the lyrics. So his themes, are based on what he wants to talk about. And that's really, his story. So, understanding what the songs are about, you have to you get to read the lyric sheets. So that's what that is. But you have like the black metal song on the end of the record, The Lamentations of the Women.
Yeah.
That's obviously that's a lyric from the Conan movie of the 80s, great movie. But Devin puts his own little twist, his evil twist on it, the 7 feet of metal twist. And Invented Purpose is that song is really cool because it's that idea of we're put on this earth to do more than just have a job, pay bills, and buy things. That's all invented. That's not really why we're here.
That's a society shit,
Yeah.
not the truth.
Right.
I mean, we need a job, of course. We need to live. We need to have
Yeah.
something close by us. It's normal because that's a. But I think that as well. I mean, we know that we need money to survive, but
Yep.
there's no written nowhere that we can pursue our dream even if we are, I don't know, 60, 70.
Yeah. Exactly.
It doesn't matter the age because right now a lot of even friends that I have, I mean, like almost same age or even younger, they're like, I'm too old to pursue my dream, or like, yeah, it happens. Like, even if I want to be a guitarist, even if I am 34 years old, and there's a chance that you can play with a bigger band, or just even a live set, just one single. Why won't do that? Or even if I don't know, even if you want to do, for example, I'm doing interview. I have been in 20 years in the music field. Started to do interviews in the last 3 years. I have a huge curriculum about a resume, about music, but I'm always at like a side job, like being an accountant,
Right.
the 9 to 5 job, whatever. But if I wouldn't be here if it wasn't my dream. So I try to say this as what the thing as well to the people. Just it's never too late to put yourself on game and to put especially out there. You have to want it. So you have to say, I want to put myself out there, no matter the chances, the risk, the rejection, what people say. And then you can go and go after it, chasing your dream, because you're never too old. It's never too late. It's never too much. It's never too less. Doesn't matter. Just go. And if it doesn't happen, it was an experience. That's part of the journey of life as well. But of course, just for not getting too much far from the main topic, I wonder all the time when I just read the name 72 Legions. I mean, I want to, of course, maybe it's easy to other people to understand why. Maybe I am the dumb here, but wow, 72 Legions. What does it mean, the name?
So the name 72 Legions, Devin came up with it.
Okay.
It's from an ancient Sumerian mythology where in heaven there are 72 choirs of angels.
Okay.
And because hell is the direct opposite in the balance to heaven, therefore there must be 72 legions of demon princes and demon kings. And So the 72 legions are all generals in Satan's army, where all the 72 angels, the choirs of angels, are
Okay.
the generals for God in the great war of good and evil. And so each one of the 72 demons, legions, has their own sigil or symbol that keeps
Okay.
them trapped in hell.
Okay.
And so those sigils, each one corresponds to a different demon lord in hell. And so
Okay.
that's the mythology of it. And so
That seems.
yeah, so that's why, like, when you look at the 10 star, the 72 legions, the 10-pointed star, it's not, satanic or
No.
angelic. It's a combination of these things that can be either good
Yeah.
or evil. But then you'll see all the sigils around the points, and you'll see, and all of that, and it's just part of that mythology. And it's actually really interesting to
Yeah.
uh,
It's
my,
interesting.
my wife and I sat down and we watched a thing on the mythology of those 72 legions, the
Yeah.
names of each one, and what their traits are, and
This
in
is,
the
this,
mythology. It's very interesting. So
you should write like a side book with
it,
an album
it,
to
it's
explain
it's
that.
already been written. It's already been written. You can Google it. You can find it on YouTube.
Hear it in music is always different.
Yeah. All right. There you go.
Yeah, I found, but of course, like you, just to give a quick look to the sound, because of course, it's pre. I mean, I don't like to label a band. I don't like to label a genre because there's too many influences in each life of everyone. But if we
Right.
would like to give it as well, like a direction, a sound to 72 Legion, even if you prefer to describe it as a with an adjective, which would it be?
I mean, the interesting thing about the band, I still feel like we're finding
Okay,
our sound.
okay,
I think that we're, a melodic death metal band, because
okay.
we've got, like, guitar harmonies and melodic
Yeah.
guitar solos, and we have blast beats, but it's not like, endless, da da
Not
da da
like
da.
that. Yeah, yeah.
And all the other guys in the band just say that we're a death metal band. I'm like, okay, cool. We're a death metal band.
Yeah, that's metal.
We've got big, heavy vocals. Devin has a bunch of great ways that he screams that are
Yeah,
super cool.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and then we've got, four guys in the band who all write different kinds of metal. So,
Yeah,
like Colton, my drummer, he likes to write this kind of deathcore beat down, these big, heavy breaks and all that.
yeah.
He likes to write that kind of stuff. My guitar player, Robert, likes
Right.
to write this kind of chaotic uh, death metal where there's a lot of parts jumping around, and then I write, how I write with my melodic tendencies, and this and that, and then Dan writes, his, what I would call, the most traditional form of death metal.
That's
He writes
metal.
really solid. That's okay. Dan, he
It's a, like
Florida
a
death
Meridian
metal, yeah,
type death
yeah,
metal.
and it's great, and so you get all these different things, and it's working well all together. So it's very
Let's say
cool.
it's kind of different shades of death metal.
Yeah, yeah.
Not
So
cover. Yeah.
and again, if you listen to the title track on What a God Can Be, What a God Could Be, you'll hear all those different things,
Good.
all the blast beats and fast splatter riffs and the big breakdown in the
Yeah.
middle, and the crazy, noise guitar solo, or or my jazz background you'll hear on Invented Purpose. You'll hear
Amazing.
um it's a saxophone atonal jazz solo I wrote in the middle of this
That's
grindcore
beautiful.
song.
I mean that that's the beauty of things because you mix something as well from your personal life, something that you took from your influences, your own influences, and I think as well this can be applied as well to the other members of the band. If
Yeah,
one day
absolutely.
someone can want to bring an ukulele, so,
Yeah, right. And that's the other thing, like, having it be in the situation where everybody's writing
yeah,
together, writing their own parts, writing their own music, writing other, like, hey, I'm the drummer and I wrote this guitar riff. Well, we're going to use that riff. It does, like, the drumming that Colton does is not drumming that I would, like, if I were writing the drum
yeah,
parts,
exactly.
it would be
You have
different.
different points of view as well. Yeah,
Yeah, so it brings everybody's element of who they are into the band. and
and yeah,
awesome.
that's amazing. And as well, you mentioned that you are writing and now you're writing a full length. You're gonna write
Yeah.
a full length in a while, so the idea are there.
Yep.
So maybe they will be out, of course, I think in 2024, probably.
Yes. Yep. That's the plan. We're gonna firm up what record label we're gonna go with for by the end of the year, and we're hopefully going to be able to have a spring release and coincide with a spring tour that we're trying to line up right now.
That's amazing, like a fresh news. So this could.
Well, so yeah, well, I mean, the other thing, I put it all out there. So we wrote a full-length album last year in the winter. So I don't like to tour in the winter. It's
Okay.
cold and miserable and dangerous.
Yeah.
So for in the winter months, so November, December, January, and into February, I like to shut down. So we're not playing shows, we're not doing any tours, and
Okay.
we're just going to be in the studio writing and working. So
But that's a good start.
we did that last year, and we have a full-length album written,
Okay.
and done. So we're gonna do another one this winter, and that way we can have as much material as possible
That's
for the
amazing.
record.
That's amazing. That's something, and I like as well how guys you're organized, and of course. So, of course, I'm really happy that we had the chance to do this interview, and especially to meet you. Like I said, you have an amazing background, and 72 Legions, it's an amazing band, and especially I like the sound, like you said, a lot of shades of death metal, and but I think something as well for everyone is there. And I wish to you guys to listen for soon for the full length. And like we were saying before, maybe there will be the chance for an interview to the fan to see what's going on during the songwriting. So
yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, and I'm really happy to meeting you. And I just let's stay in touch, of course. And I will send you all the info about the interviews and greetings to your wife and to your family. And enjoy the rest at your place, at your home right now. And Curran, it was really a pleasure. Really.
It was absolutely awesome. Thank you very much for making all the effort to have an interview with me. I appreciate that very much.
Thank you for your effort. I'm supposed to. So you are the guest. So thank you for being here. And next time I will have a mug, a cup with the coffee as well. So don't forget.
All right.
I have Alexa. The crazy things happens even here. Bye, Curran. Thank you so much.
Goodbye. Thank you. Yeah, we'll do another interview.
Yeah.